Magandang hapon po mga katribo and welcome to Be Well Now. Kasama po natin ang isang batikan na doktor, expert sa lifestyle medicine, si Dr. Johann Kim Mañez. Siya po ay eksperto sa Adventist way of life or the Adventist advantage. Hi,
Hello
Dr.
po,
Johann.
Yes po, nice to be here again.
Kumusta po kayo?
Okay naman po. Busy talaga ang life ng doctor kaya hindi laging busy kaya yun lagi ang sagot, busy.
Oo nga. Pag pinag-uusapan natin ang lifestyle, ano kayang ibig sabihin nun? Para sa kaalaman ng ating mga katribo.
So, essentially po, pag sinabi nating lifestyle, lahat po ng aspect ng ating pamumuhay is part of lifestyle. Kaya very broad po, pag lifestyle ang pinag-usapan, hindi lang po yan ehersisyo, hindi lang po yan pagkain, marami pong bagay ang involved pag lifestyle po ang pinag-uusapan.
Okay, so pag sinabi natin kailangan maging malusog ang katawan mo o maging malusog ang lifestyle ng isang tao, ibig sabihin body, mind, and spirit yun, di ba?
Yes po, so kompleto po yun dapat. Okay? Kompleto yung approach po natin. And this is one reason kung bakit meron po tayong tinatawag na Adventist advantage.
Yeah.
As you know po, Miss Cory, I am a Seventh-day Adventist po. And
yes,
part of
the North Philippine Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. You're a member of that.
Yung ang headquarters po natin sa Luzon. So, meron po kaming belief based on the Bible that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. And because that is part of our basic beliefs as a church po, kasama po talaga sa amin yung pag-iingat po ng aming katawan. Kaya po, naging passion ko na lang rin po yung ating lifestyle medicine kasi in-line po siya dun sa aking belief as a person, yung spiritual belief ko po. At the same time, as a physician, mas nakakatulong po tayo sa tao kapag founded po yung ating belief on solid science. So, it's not only...
Bilang isang Adventist at bilang isang doktor ng lifestyle medicine, you're the medical director of the Solid Rock Lifestyle Medicine.
Yes po.
Dr. Johann, when somebody asks you, yung Adventist way of life, gaano kaiba yun? Kakaiba talaga, sabi nila pag Adventist ka. Bakit?
Yeah, so, syempre po, unang-una, naniniwala po tayo sa Panginoon and we base our beliefs on the Bible. And yun nga po, kaya po related po talaga sa health ang aming religion is because we're very careful about keeping our bodies healthy. Yung pagkain po namin, binibase po namin sa original na diet, sa Genesis 1:29, Genesis 3:18, naka-layout po doon yung prescription ng Panginoon para sa dapat kainin ng tao. And then today,
so nakasulat na sa Biblia na yun.
Yes po. Pinaka-start sa Genesis. So makikita po natin sa Genesis na doon pa lang po sinabi na po ng Panginoon na okay, this is what you will eat. And when man fell into sin, di ba? And it's actually interesting that ang unang kasalanan ng tao ay related sa pagkain. So mukhang mukhang naging problema talaga sa atin yung pagkain, Miss Cory, from the very beginning.
Okay. Ayon sa Biblia, ano bang dapat natin kainin?
Okay, so kung meron po kayong Bible, if you open it to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 29, start po tayo doon. It mentions that yung fruit, okay, and yung seed, and yung grain, so that already encompasses 3 food groups: fruits, grains, and beans. Okay, so Genesis
Kulitin natin, Dr. Johann.
Okay, so Genesis 1:29 po, it mentions 3 food groups. Okay? It mentions fruits, it mentions grains and beans. So yun po yung
Fruit, grain, and beans.
fruit,
So,
grains, and beans.
pati grain, okay? Sa Adventist
Yes
way.
po. Yes po, definitely. Whole
Fruit,
grains po.
whole grain.
Whole
Fruit, grain, and
beans.
beans.
So that is in
Okay.
Genesis 1:29. But then man fell into sin. Nagkasala po ang tao, di ba? Kumain ng prutas na hindi dapat kainin. And then so nagkasala ang tao, naging mortal, from immortal naging mortal ang tao. So sa Genesis 3:18, God added vegetables. After
Huli na yung gulay.
Yes po, nahuli yung gulay. Okay?
Ah,
So and gulay po is kind of a punishment, no? Sa tao na kailangan na natin ngayon kumain ng gulay para ma-maintain ang kalusugan natin. So doon po pasok po yung vegetables. So yun pong 4 food groups, nakakatuwa po kasi in lifestyle medicine, we're finding out that people who don't even believe in God are discovering that foods na dapat kainin ng tao as scientists, okay, ang food na kailangan palang kainin ng tao ay yung 4 food groups na minention sa Bible. Fruits, whole grains, beans, and vegetables, but people are discovering it through medicine and nutrition. So, parang parang nagtutugma po yung dalawa. Yung sinasabi po ng science at yung prescription ng Panginoon, parang sinuportahan po ng scientific community today. So, yun po, natutuwa po ako na there's harmony between what science tells us and what the Bible is telling us.
okay. So, ayan mga katribo, yung mga pagkain natin ay fruit, grain, and beans, tapos gulay. So, ibig sabihin, vegetarian diet yan.
Plant predominant po ang tawag po natin ngayon. Plant predominant. So mostly plants. May mga Adventist na hindi naman vegetarian. Kumakain pa rin sila ng meat, ng fish, ng dairy, eggs. Pero ang emphasis po pagdating sa belief ay mas maganda sana plant-based talaga.
Ayun, plant-based. Okay. So, Dr. Johann, ano talaga ang bawal? Even if you mention kung ano ang pwede, ano ang pinakabawal?
Okay. So kung sa bawal po, we fast forward sa Leviticus 11. Okay, so sa Leviticus 11 po, dahil matigas ang ulo ng mga Israelites nung panahon sa Bible, at talagang kahit may prescription ng Panginoon na tamang pagkain, gusto pa rin nila nung food galing sa Egypt, di ba? Yung naging slave sila, parang gusto nilang balik-balikan yung kanilang food na kinagisnan kasi doon na sila lumaki sa Egypt nung sila ay alipin. At yung food doon, puro karne. So yun ang gusto nila sanang balikan. So dahil sa katigasan ng ulo nila, nagbigay ang Panginoon ng guidelines para hindi naman, kung meat man ang kakainin nila, hindi yung delikadong meat. Yung meat na relatively edible at hindi naman kayo mamamatay agad. So, sa Leviticus 11 po, nandun po yung mga iba't ibang klaseng hayop na pwedeng kainin. Ang tawag po dun ay clean meats, clean animals.
Pag sabi niyong clean, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng clean?
Okay, so yun po. So may description po doon. For example, sa fish, ang clean na fish po ay yung fish na may kaliskis.
Ayun.
Ang fish na clean. And mostly po, ang fish na walang kaliskis, lalo na yung mga seafood, mapapansin po natin na yan po ay mga bottom feeders. Ibig sabihin, sila yung taga-ubos ng mga basura sa dagat. So yun ay unclean. Sabi nga sa ibang mga biologists, sabi nila ang mga tipon, for example, are the cockroaches of the ocean because they literally clean the ocean up. So iniiwasan po natin yung mga ganong klaseng type, yung mga scavengers, yung mga predators. So yun po, iniiwasan po yung ganong klaseng mga meats.
Okay, so isdang may kaliskis, ibig sabihin, bawal ang isdang walang kaliskis.
Walang kaliskis, opo. So kasama po dyan yung hipon, kasama yung mga mga seafood, mga shellfish.
So, goodbye, alimango.
Goodbye, alimango. Yes po.
Goodbye, hipon.
Yeah. Masarap pa naman daw
Goodbye,
yun.
squid.
Yeah, even squid. That's right.
Ay,
So yun lang
ko
po.
pa naman ang baby pusit.
Nako, favorite. Yeah, but yun
Bawal
naman po.
daw. Bawal.
Yeah, yun lang naman po yung bawal based sa Leviticus 11. Pero kami po, personally, for me, I don't even look at Leviticus 11. Doon po ako sa original na diet. Gusto ko po yung talagang kung anong prescribe ng Panginoon sa tao. At yun rin po ang sinasabi po namin sa mga pasyente namin kasi pag sinunod po nila, Miss Cory, nawawala yung sakit nila eh. Yun ang nakakatuwa doon eh.
Oo. So, anong unang tinanggal nyo sa diet ng isang taong may karamdaman?
So, yung mga patients po namin, depende rin kasi po sa sakit. For example, yung pasyente ay may gout.
Mhm.
So yung gout, alam natin na yung mga pagkain na mataas ang purines, yun ang unang-unang tatanggalin. And we know that meat, for example, has very high purine content. So yun kaagad ang tinatanggal namin. Tapos pinapalitan po namin ng protein na wala masyadong purines. Kaya yung mga beans po, wala masyadong purines. Yun po ang pinapalit namin as a source of protein, and in 2 to 3 weeks they do so much better po.
Ayun. So, okay. Sa hayop, okay yung isdang may kaliskis. Ano pang pwede?
Okay po. So, pagdating naman po sa land animals, okay? Yung mga hayop po that chew the cud, yung papansin po ninyo, katulad ng mga baka, yung mga kambing, right? They chew the cud. Pero yung kanila pong paa, yung hooves po ng kanilang paa, ay bitak. So bitak siya, like the cow. Bitak po yung paa niya, okay? And he chews the cud, so yun po ay kinoconsider po na clean animal. So,
Clean or unclean?
Clean.
Clean. I see. Basta may hoof. Merong hoof.
Yeah. Yung hoof na bitak, saka po yung nag-chew ng cud, ay clean po yun.
So, pwede yung kambing.
Yes po. Pwede yung kambing, pwede yung baka. So, yun ang kinoconsider na clean. So, unclean naman po, katulad po ng swine, ng pig.
Baboy.
Bitak yung paa niya, pero hindi siya nag-chew ng cud. So, we consider that unclean. Okay? So, based on Leviticus 11 po ito. And
So, bawal ang baboy.
Baboy po unclean talaga po. Based sa Leviticus 11.
So,
And we have very
manok.
similar. Manok po,
Manok.
okay. So pagdating sa ibon, bawal po yung web ang feet. Yung may web na feet. Katulad ng mga pato, mga gansa, ganon. May web po yung feet niya. Bawal po yun. Yeah.
Oh.
And yes po.
Duck
this is just based on
goose.
Leviticus 11. Opo, yes po.
So
yun po.
pero yung
Birds of
chicken,
prey.
meron din web.
Wala po siyang web. Parang fingers lang yung sa chicken. Wala talaga
Tama. Yung Adidas niya.
Saka birds of prey po. Hindi rin po kami kumakain ng
Yung
birds.
turkey.
Turkey, pwede po yun. Yes po. Kasama po yun dun sa category ng clean na fowl.
So, bawal pala yung duck.
Opo. Yes po. Again, we're just basing this on the Leviticus 11.
Leviticus. Right.
So, yun po.
Bakit
Yun
kaya
po.
alam nila noon at paano nangyari ito na sino ba nang gumawa ng listahang ito?
Yeah. Well, it was given to the Israelites by God himself. And so he knew that at that time, yung mga hayop po na yon, like for example, ducks and geese, right? Ano po sila? Filter feeders sila. They filter food from water. And sometimes yung water po ay hindi malinis, no? Kahit saan sila na may konting tubig, they filter out food. And yung mga particles of food na nakakain nila, hindi lagi pure na pagkain siya. Minsan may dumi siyang kasama. Compare that to how chicken eat. Chicken very picky, ano? They will pick out food that for them are edible. Hindi siya kumukuha ng food galing sa dirty water or marshy na dirty water. Pero ang ducks and geese, sinisieve po nila, finifilter po nila yung food nila. So again, filter feeders, scavengers, birds of prey, predators, usually hindi po kumakain ang Adventist po niyan. Or hindi dapat. Ewan ko lang kung meron talagang kumakain, pero hindi dapat kumain ng mga ganung klaseng food. Very similar po actually ang mga Muslim, very similar po ang kanilang bawal na foods. So sa Muslim, bawal rin po yung mga pork, yung mga ganun because of that Levitical na account.
Okay. Mga katribo, wag po kayong aalis. May special reminders po kami.
Be updated sa news and happenings katribu. Hatid ng Daily Tribune sa inyo ang mga balitang napapanahon sa loob at labas ng bansa. Kami na ang bahala sa paghahatid sa inyo ng mga latest and reliable news. We got you covered sa programang Tribune News on Q. Mapapanood mula umaga hanggang gabi, Lunes hanggang Biyernes sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Mga impormasyong direktang makukuha mula sa sources at diretsahang usapan. Yan ang ating damin sa inyo sa programang Straight Talk. Samahan nyo kami sa makabuluhang talakayan live tuwing Martes alas 10 ng umaga sa official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune at Tribune Now on YouTube. Fun and inspiring na kwentuhan? Sagot na yan ang programang Spotlight ng Daily Tribune. Makipagkwentuhan at kilalanin ng iba't ibang personalidad na kilala sa kani-kanilang larangan. Manood at makinig sa mga inspiring stories na kanilang ibabahagi kasama si Nina Ventura. Be ready ng mamangha at matuwa every Thursday alas 2 ng hapon dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Magandang araw mga katribu! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Welcome back mga katribo. Pinag-usapan po natin ang Adventist advantage. Ano kaya kung ang lifestyle ng isang Adventist ay magiging lifestyle din natin? Kasama po natin si Dr. Johann Kim Mañez. Siya po ay isang lifestyle medicine doctor at isang Adventist. Dr.
Yeah,
Johann, eto na.
Yes po, Ms. Corey.
Diba?
So,
Napakaganda yung Adventist way of life kasi may naglabas na ng survey sa buong mundo na isa sa mga pinaka-healthy na lifestyles ay ang Adventist way.
Yes po. That was That was discovered actually by Dan Buettner of the National Geographic when he was working with the National Geographic back several years ago. Naghahanap po sila ng mga localities where people lived over 100 years. And isa po sa mga communities na discover po nila is Loma Linda, California, na concentrated kasi po doon ang mga Adventists sa Loma Linda. And
Kaya
these
pala.
Adventists they follow the principles of the Adventist Church very closely, lalo na pagdating sa kalusugan.
Okay, so ito yung mga blue zones na pinag-usapan natin, no?
Yes po.
Can you tell us more about the blue zones? Mga katribo, may mga blue zones sa buong mundo.
Yeah. So ito pong blue zones na to, number one po, people, ang criteria po dapat sa blue zones, people live a good percentage of their community live to over 100 years old. So mga centenarians, marami po dito mga centenarians of 5 blue zones na to. So kung makikita po niyo sa screen niyo, Okinawa, Japan is one of the blue zones. Meron po tayong Sardinia, Italy. Okay? Meron pong Icaria, Greece, and Nicoya, Costa Rica. And then yung pinaka-fifth po of all places sa mundo, Loma Linda, California, which is part of the United States. And you know, in the US, Miss Cory, ang dami pong chronic diseases doon, ano? Rampant ang chronic diseases, and yet there's a community in the whole of the United States na iba yung statistics nila. They are living to 100 years and over, and at that age, they don't even have any diseases.
Okay, so ulitin natin yung 5 blue zones sa buong mundo.
Yeah. So 5 po is Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, Sardinia, Italy. Meron po tayong Loma Linda, California. Ano pa bang na-miss ko?
Sa Japan.
Japan I already mentioned. So Sardinia,
Which one
Italy,
is Japan?
ito pong sa top ng Philippines. Sa taas ng Philippines.
O saan? Sa Japan?
Okinawa, Japan. Icaria,
Okinawa.
Greece, Sardinia, Italy, and Nicoya, Costa Rica.
Dr. Johann, don't you find
Yes,
it
po.
curious? All of these countries are above the equator.
Yeah, that's actually one interesting thing. Ano po? I don't know if there's a connection between the location po, but there definitely are similar lifestyles. Okay, in these communities po, people eat more plant-based foods. So predominantly plant-based pang food nila. They will eat a little fish, they will eat a little meat, pero predominantly po plant-based yung food nila. Also, they all love walking for some reason. So all these people, if they're not walking for the pleasure of walking, they're walking because they work on the farm, they're working on their fields, and so they have to walk long distances. They take care of animals. So pinapag-graze nila yung mga sheep nila. So naglalakad po sila. They have very good family relationships. So in Okinawa, for example, no, makikita po niyo sa isang household from the great grandparents hanggang sa great grandchildren, nasa loob pa rin sila ng isang bahay, and they take care of each other. Another thing they noticed is in these communities, they love their parents, and so they take the children and the grandchildren take care of their parents and their grandparents and even their great grandparents. So there was even this one shot from the National Geographic where a great grandmother was holding her great grandchild. So, you know, 4 or 5 generations, and they're living together, they're supporting each other. So there's a lot of love in the family. There's a lot of support from each other in the family. So apart from exercise, they have good relationships. They usually do not smoke a lot, okay? Sa mga ano po, they seldom smoke in some of these communities. But even in some of the communities that do smoke, hindi po ganun ka grabe sila mag-smoke. There is some alcohol intake sa sa Mediterranean areas,
Yes.
but very limited. Okay, it's a very small amount. It's not like they get super drunk and party. They just drink it as part of their meal, and that's it. Hindi po talaga yung overwhelming na pag-inom na talagang dumarating sa point na lasing sila. Okay, so moderation po ang nakikita po natin. There's a moderation of even some of these practices that we consider unhealthy.
Okay, ulitin natin yung blue zones, Dr. Johann, sa Yokohama, Japan,
Okinawa po, Okinawa.
Okinawa, Japan,
Okinawa. And then we have Ikaria, Greece,
Ikaria, Greece,
Sardinia, Italy,
Sardinia, okay.
Nicoya, Costa Rica.
Gubat
then
yun.
Yes, opo. Last but not the least, Loma Linda, California. Kaya unique po yung Loma Linda because it's in a very populated modern city.
Right.
Compare natin Sardinia, Italy, Ikaria, Greece, Okinawa, and Nicoya. These areas are more rural areas. Okay, nasa province siya, malayo sa main city, totally different way of life compared to people in the city. But in Loma Linda, you're bang in the city. You're in the middle of the city, and you have this community that still thrive. So ang difference po nung Loma Linda na group is that these are modern people and they're living modern lifestyles, but they're taking care of their health. So they're having a lot of exercise. They're eating the right type of food. Most of them are plant-based eaters. They sleep well, they exercise well, they drink lots of water, and they have good relationships with people in the community and in their church especially. So Loma Linda, you may not see families with great-grandparents and great-grandchildren living together, but you see a very good church family. So relationships within the church. So may support pa rin po siya. So again, yun po yung makikita natin in the other communities. There's good support between each other. And one last thing is that all of these communities believe in a divine being that oversees their life, so may security sila on a spiritual level. So like for example in Okinawa, Japan, they're not Christian, but they do believe in a divine being that is taking care of them. And so so are the people in the other communities that I mentioned, lalo na po sa Loma Linda, California, where these are Seventh-day Adventist churchgoers, and they go to church and they have this faith that Jesus is helping them and guiding them in their everyday life. So yun po ang similarities between these communities po.
Kasi din, Doc, kapag mapagdasal isang tao, nagiging mas kalmado din ang spiritual.
That is correct po.
Ang kalooban natin, di ba?
Yeah. Kaya po yung approach po natin, the reason why we call it the Adventist advantage is because we approach life holistically. We have our spiritual life, we have our physical life, okay? So it's body, it's spirit, and then you have your mind. So mentally, because you are secure physically, you're healthy physically, you're secure spiritually, you believe in God who oversees your life and guides you, then yung ating mental health is really helped, We're secure in two major things in our life, so the mental aspect, parang it just naturally goes that if you're okay with your physical aspect, your spiritual aspect, then you're calm, you're secure, and that's why your mental health is also healthy.
Tapos kapag mapagdasal ka o madasalin ka, yung paghihilom mo, let's say may karamdaman ka, di ba, Doc? Napapabilis ang paghihilom mo.
So that is true. And ano po yan, scientifically proven na yung mga tao po na mayroong pananampalataya, they believe in God, mas mabilis po yung speed ng recovery po nila from certain conditions.
Ayun. O, Doc, di ba sinabi nyo, dramatic ang changes sa mga pasyente nyo Can you still take more patients? Pwede pa?
Pwede naman po. Yeah. I mentioned earlier no, na busy talaga tayo. It's part of life, I guess. And I guess busyness is good because that means you have a purpose and you're doing
Okay.
something for the
Okay.
community. So yes po, definitely
Pwede.
I continue to see patients po every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Doc, anong contact numbers niyo before I go to my next question? Para sa
Okay.
mga gusto magpakonsulta sa inyo.
So you can contact me through mobile 0932 872 2468, and I'm pretty sure they're going to flash it on the screen as well. And I accept online consultations. In fact, the booking for appointments po lahat online yon. So ibibigay ko na lang po sa inyo yung aking link that you can click. You can also go to my website solidrocklifestylemedicine.com. Yun po. One word lang.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johann. Pero okay, now, I will ask my question. Sinabi
Okay.
niyo, napaka-dramatic ang changes sa inyong pasyente
Yes.
once you change their lifestyle.
Mhm.
Okay? How dramatic should that change be? Should it be immediate o pwedeng gradual?
Okay, so the changes will depend on how committed the person is. So, kung yung patient po ay medyo nag-aalangan, so hindi pa niya ini-embrace totally, so yung changes, gano'n rin po yung makikita natin. So, gradual lang po yung changes. Okay, but there will be changes. Like for example po, if you just take away meat from your plate and add something healthier, like say some beans, you can already change your cholesterol levels over time. You could also change your sugar levels kung kayo po ay diabetic. Okay? So we've seen that na konting change lang po sa food, dagdagan lang ng mas healthy. So syempre pag dinagdagan mo ng healthy food, nadi-displace yung unhealthy food.
Ayun.
Mas-
Okay, so Doc,
Oo.
let's say, sasabihin ko, babanggitin ko yung kondisyon. Sasabihin niyo kung anong kailangan ayusin. Okay? O
Okay po.
baguhin.
Sige po.
Okay.
Sige po. Maganda po yan.
Let's say, high blood sugar, diabetes, o pre-diabetic na siya.
Okay, so persons with high blood sugar should always find a way na alisin po ang fatty food. Fat in their diet is what is the main cause of
Ayun. Remove fatty food kung mataas
Yeah.
ang blood sugar. Tulad ng
tulad po ng mayroon po ako isang pasyente kanina na chicken, mahilig siya sa chicken. Akala niya healthy yung chicken, akala niya mas maraming protein kaysa fat, but we have to understand that chicken is a high fat food. 60% po ng chicken ay fat. Okay, so that's one example. Another example is yung ating mga margarine, yung ating mga butter, yung mga spreads natin, very high in fat. Yeah.
mayonesa.
Yes po, yes po. And another thing, healthy na sana yung salad, Miss Cory. Isang katutak naman na salad oils.
Na dressing.
Ang binukod.
Kung olive
Kaya-
oil ang ginagamit ko.
Okay, there's some studies that show there is benefit to a little bit of olive oil added to the food. Pero ngayon po kasi, grabe po tayo gumamit ng oil eh. Yung katulad nung minention ko, yung mga salad, minsan makikita mo,
Lumalangoy na.
dripping. Yeah, lumalangoy talaga. So oil, that's just too much po. A little bit maybe will help, pero for example, if you do have a condition, mas maganda po na iwasan mo yung cause ng condition. And when it comes to type 2 diabetes, it is
Okay.
the oil.
Diabetes, high blood sugar, tanggalin ang fat or oils
Yes.
sa diet. Hindi tatanggalin ang carbohydrate.
Complex carbohydrates. You have to remove the simple carbohydrates like sugar,
Tulad na
candies, cake. Okay, yung mga simple sugars po, hindi maganda talaga yan.
ayun.
Okay, soda. Yan, soda napakasama po na yan sa katawan. Pero yung complex carbohydrates like kamote, okay, like whole grain rice, corn. These are wonderfully healthy foods na ang Okinawa, Japan po, for example, the Okinawans, they eat kamote as their staple. They have several species of kamote, and that's one of their staples, and they live to 100 years old and over. So,
Very good. Okay,
complex carbohydrates are good.
great. O, Doc, mataas na cholesterol.
Okay, napakadali po niyan kasi number one, remember that our livers, yung ating mga atay, produce all the cholesterol na kailangan ng katawan natin. So we don't need cholesterol from exogenous sources. Ibig sabihin, from our food. Hindi natin po kailangan ng cholesterol from our food. So iwasan po natin yung extra cholesterol from the food, number one. Number two, we have to make sure that yung food po natin hindi rin mataas sa saturated fat, because saturated fat can stimulate extra cholesterol production in our liver. So yung dalawa po yun. Okay? Avoid cholesterol foods, and basically that's all animal foods kasi ang animal foods yun lang ang may cholesterol. Wala namang cholesterol sa plant-based foods. And yun po, iwasan po natin yung saturated na fat.
Ayan, pag saturated fat, edi yung taba ng
hayop. Taba ng may mga ano rin po, may mga plant-based sources ng saturated fat, but if you eat the whole food, like in avocados, for example, it's not going to harm you that much unless siguro kilo-kilo na ng avocado na ubos mo sa isang araw. So you know, too much of anything, Miss Cory, is bad. So avocados, even though it tastes good and people love it, kahit isa lang po sa isang araw para hindi po natin sinosobrahan lagi yung mga ano.
Ayun. Okay. Tapos gout. Gout
Okay.
muna.
Yeah, good question. So good condition. So gout, increase water intake, number one. Okay. Try to move the joint affected para kumbaga sa ano yung nangangalawang na joints para gumalaw po at ma-dislodge yung uric acid na nakastuck dyan. Wag lang pong imamassage ha. Pag minassage niyo delikado, mas lalong mamamaga. Just make sure you move the joint affected. Don't force it, yung hanggang kaya lang ng pain, okay? And number three, avoid high purine foods, including meats. Meat talaga po ang mataas ang purine. So, lalo na yung mga lamang loob, nako, yun talaga ang matindi po pag sa gout.
Okay. Arthritis.
Okay, gout is a type of arthritis po.
Right.
So, similar po yung approach po natin.
Okay. Osteoporosis. Let's say merong osteoporosis na yung mga seniors.
Great question po. Ano? So, osteoporosis, numinipis po yung mga buto natin at nawawala po yung calcium. So, what we want to do is eat a lot of high calcium foods, at ang pinakapanalo po dyan is bok choy.
Bok choy, ha?
Bok choy has one of the highest content ng calcium of any foods. Also, there's studies that show na yung countries that drink the most milk and have the most dairy in their diet, yun po yung pinakamataas ang osteoporosis. So maybe it is wise not to drink a lot of dairy. Alam ko po na this is contradicting to what you hear on the news, but when you look at the science and you look at the statistics, yung mga countries po na pinakamalakas uminom ng dairy, sila yung pinakamataas ang osteoporosis. So maybe it doesn't show, maybe it shows us that milk doesn't really protect our bones as we thought it used to.
Something to think about, mga katribo. Pero para
Yes,
sa
po.
mga gustong magpakonsulta kay Dr. Johann, he is available habang may panahon siya.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Cory.
So,
Ano pa pong
ulitin
condition,
natin.
Miss Cory?
Ulitin natin yung Adventist way to wrap up your
Okay.
parting words.
Yeah, so the Adventist lifestyle po, we focus on health habits to keep our bodies healthy because we believe that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so if there's some place that you want to live in, it has to be taken care of, it has to be clean, it has to be healthy, like our bodies, right? So eat more plant-based foods po, exercise regularly, sleep 8 hours, drink plenty of water, have healthy, loving relationships, and I'm pretty sure po na yung Adventist lifestyle, pwede po ninyong, you don't even need to be an Adventist to follow the Adventist lifestyle. It's just a lifestyle that will help you become healthier po. So I encourage people to do that.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Dr. Johann, but I have a one follow-up question. May nag-text dito.
Sige po.
Paano sa mga taong palaging may allergy? Yung palaging
Mm.
bahing ng bahing?
Okay. So we also know that dairy po is one of the most common allergens that people react to. For example, I used to have asthma, but since I got rid of dairy, hindi na po bumalik yung asthma attacks ko. Okay? And many of my patients have similar experiences, especially with rhinitis, allergic rhinitis. Yung sa umaga, pagising mo, bahing ka ng bahing, you know, laging runny yung nose, na tutubig pa yung mata. So that's one thing that you could try initially. Pero ultimately po, Miss Cory, we need the services of an allergologist para ma-test po kung anong specific na allergies po natin na meron tayo. Para yun ang iiwasan natin, or we can, the allergologist can help you desensitize to that particular food or substance in the environment.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Johann Kim Mañez.
No problem.
Siya po is an expert sa lifestyle medicine. Sana babalik po kayo for healthy Christmas recipes na pwede niyo i-share sa amin lahat. Nang sa ganun, magiging mas malusog ang ating Christmas feast. Diba, Dr.
I'd love to share.
Dr.
Yeah, I'd love to
Johann?
share about
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Johann. We'll see you very
po.
soon.
Yes, po. Thank you.
Thank you. Yan po mga katribo ang ating episode ngayon, The Adventist Advantage. Hindi naman kailangan maging isang Adventist para magkaroon ng isang Adventist lifestyle. Nang sa ganun, magiging mas malusog po tayo at magiging mas mahaba at lalong hahaba po ang ating buhay. Para sa Be Well Now, ito po si Cory Quirino. God bless po.
We would like to thank the following: Araneta, Pag-ibig, SM Supermall, Veteran, Divina Law Offices, ICTSI, Xlog, Globe, Kia, PLDT, Cherry, Tanawan, Prime Homes, RLC, Pure Gold, Meralco, and SM Retail.